In the shipyards of Belfast, a giant was born, Titanic. The air rang with the clang of hammers and the shouts of men as the world's most ambitious ship began to take shape. It was a project that would capture imaginations and push the limits of engineering. The White Star Line set out to build the largest, most luxurious ship ever to cross the Atlantic. Titanic was to be a floating palace, promising comfort and elegance for every class of passenger, from the wealthiest elite to hopeful immigrants seeking a new life. Thousands of workers spent years forging its steel hull, assembling millions of rivets by hand. Their labor was grueling, but every strike of the hammer brought Titanic closer to reality, a testament to human determination and teamwork. On May 31, 1911, Titanic's hull slid into the River Lagan, a spectacle of power and precision. Crowds gathered to witness history, cheering as the massive vessel touched water for the very first time. But it was the ship's design that truly captured imaginations. 16 watertight compartments, sealed by iron doors, promised unprecedented safety. Engineers boasted that even if several compartments flooded, Titanic would remain afloat. The shipbuilder journal called Titanic and her sister ship practically unsinkable, a phrase that quickly became legend. Newspapers echoed this claim, fueling a sense of awe and invincibility. The public seized on this myth, believing the ship could survive any disaster short of the unimaginable. Titanic became a symbol of hope, progress, and the promise of a safer future at sea. Confidence in technology became Titanic's identity, a symbol of human mastery over nature. The ship's sheer size and power inspired awe, and its advanced features set a new standard for maritime travel. People believed this vessel could conquer the North Atlantic, one of the world's most treacherous seas. Titanic was seen as the ultimate triumph over the unpredictable forces of nature. Titanic was more than a ship, it was a declaration of dominance over the ocean. Its journey was anticipated as a new era in transatlantic travel. This faith in its unsinkable nature would shape every decision made on board, from the captain's confidence to the crew's sense of security. The world watched, certain that nothing could threaten this marvel. Titanic's maiden voyage was front-page news, and excitement rippled across continents. But that confidence would soon be tested in the most tragic way imaginable, as fate prepared to challenge the unsinkable dream. Titanic was nearly 883 feet long, longer than 4 city blocks, and weighed over 46,000 tons. Its 4 towering funnels, 3 functional and 1 for show, made it an icon of power. Inside, it was a floating palace. First-class passengers enjoyed grand staircases, lavish suites, a swimming pool, gymnasium, and fine dining. Even second-class accommodations rivaled first class on other ships, with comfortable cabins and elegant dining. Third class, though simpler, offered clean cabins and hot meals, luxuries for many emigrants. The ship was a microcosm of Edwardian society, with strict class divisions and separate spaces for each group. Yet for all, Titanic was a self-contained world, post office, telephone system, and even a daily newspaper. It was more than transport, it was an experience, a city of elegance and innovation. Passengers marveled at the blend of luxury and technology. Titanic promised not just a journey but a taste of the future. On April 10, 1912, Southampton buzzed with excitement as Titanic prepared for her maiden voyage. Passengers from every walk of life boarded, the wealthy elite with their staff and luggage, and hopeful emigrants seeking new lives in America. As Titanic set sail, celebration filled the air. The first days were smooth, calm seas, fine weather, and a sense of adventure. First-class passengers enjoyed luxury and social events. Second class had their own gatherings. Third class was alive with music and dreams. Despite class divisions, everyone felt part of something historic. Captain Edward Smith, on his final voyage before retirement, commanded with confidence. The ship's engines drove her steadily westward, and the crew trusted in her strength. Passengers felt safe, cocooned in luxury and the myth of unsinkability. There was no hint of danger, only the endless ocean and the promise of a new world. Titanic was living up to its legend. The voyage seemed destined for triumph, but fate had other plans. As Titanic entered the icy North Atlantic, warnings of icebergs poured in from nearby ships. Some messages reached the bridge, but others were missed, overlooked amid the rush of passenger telegrams. The night of April 14th was eerily calm, making icebergs harder to spot. Lookouts, without binoculars, strained to see through the darkness. At 11:40 p.m., a dark shape loomed ahead. "Iceberg, right ahead!" rang out. First Officer Murdoch ordered a desperate turn and full reverse. The ship began to swing, but it was too late. The iceberg scraped along Titanic's starboard side, breaching her hull. In seconds, the fate of the great ship was sealed. The collision felt minor to many on board, barely more than a shudder beneath their feet, but deep below, out of sight, seawater poured relentlessly into the ship's lower compartments, flooding rooms and machinery with chilling speed. Titanic's designer, Thomas Andrews, quickly realized the grim truth. 6 compartments were breached, 2 more than the ship could possibly survive. He understood instantly that the ship's fate was sealed. The mighty vessel was doomed to sink within just a few hours, no matter what anyone did. Lifeboats were uncovered and prepared, but there were only enough for about half of those on board, far too few for a ship of this size and prestige. Outdated maritime regulations and misplaced confidence in Titanic's design had left the ship woefully unprepared for disaster, with lifeboat numbers based on tonnage, not capacity. The crew, unpracticed in emergency drills and facing chaos, struggled to organize the evacuation and lower the boats safely into the freezing Atlantic. Many passengers, unable or unwilling to believe the ship could actually sink, hesitated to board lifeboats, convinced they were safer on the Grand Liner. Early lifeboats left half-empty, wasting precious space and time that could have saved more lives, as confusion and disbelief clouded judgment. Confusion and disbelief reigned as the ship's tilt grew steeper, making movement on deck increasingly perilous. The band played on, their music drifting through the cold night air, trying to calm nerves as the disaster unfolded around them. Stewards went cabin to cabin, urging people to don life jackets and head to the boat deck, their voices growing more urgent with each passing minute. The lights stayed on, masking the growing danger and giving a false sense of security to those still inside. As the reality set in, panic began to spread, and order gave way to chaos on the decks. The unsinkable ship was sinking, and time was running out for everyone still aboard. Every decision now meant life or death, as passengers and crew faced the unimaginable in the icy darkness. Titanic's tragedy was shaped by class and circumstance. In first class, order prevailed at first. Men like John Jacob Astor calmly saw loved ones to safety, accepting their fate. Benjamin Guggenheim, dressed in his best, prepared to go down like gentlemen. Second-class passengers faced chaos, struggling to reach the boats as the ship tilted and confusion mounted. Third class endured the worst, trapped in lower decks, navigating a maze of corridors, some blocked by locked gates. Many never reached the lifeboats. Amid the chaos, stories of sacrifice emerged. Ida Strauss refusing to leave her husband, the Navratil orphans placed in a lifeboat by their father. The ship became a stage for heroism and heartbreak. Families were separated, destinies changed in moments. The rigid social order dissolved in the face of disaster. Titanic's decks bore witness to the full spectrum of human courage and loss. Amid chaos, small acts of bravery stood out. In the darkness and confusion, people made split-second decisions that would shape their fate and the fate of others. The ship's orchestra, led by Wallace Hartley, played on the deck, calming passengers until the very end. Their music offered a sense of peace and dignity, even as fear swept through the crowd. Their final song, "Nearer My God to Thee," became legend, echoing through history as a symbol of courage and grace in the face of disaster. Chief Baker Charles Jaug Yeen helped stock lifeboats with bread, then survived hours in freezing water, his unlikely endurance attributed to quick thinking and perhaps a bit of whiskey. His story is a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. Wireless operators Jack Phillips and Harold Bride sent desperate SOS signals, working tirelessly as the ship sank, but the nearby SS Californian missed the calls. Its radio was off for the night, a tragic oversight. The Californian's crew saw Titanic's distress rockets but failed to act, watching tragedy unfold just miles away. The silence between ships became a haunting reminder of missed opportunities. After the sinking, most lifeboats hesitated to return for survivors, fearing they'd be swamped. The night air was filled with cries for help that slowly faded into silence. Only Fifth Officer Harold Lowe led a boat back, rescuing a handful from the icy water. His courage saved lives, but so many were left behind. Hundreds perished within sight of safety, their hopes dashed by the cold and the darkness. The night was filled with missed chances and haunting choices, each one echoing through history. Every detail revealed the limits of preparation and the unpredictability of disaster. Even the best-laid plans could not account for every possibility. The smallest decisions had the gravest consequences, changing the course of countless lives in an instant. Titanic's story is as much about human nature as it is about engineering, a reminder of both our strengths and our vulnerabilities in the face of the unknown. As the cries faded, about 700 survivors waited in lifeboats, shivering in the darkness. Their rescue came at dawn, when the RMS Carpathia arrived after racing through ice fields to reach them. Captain Rostron and his crew worked tirelessly, pulling survivors aboard, offering blankets, food, and comfort. The Carpathia searched for hours, then turned toward New York, leaving behind wreckage and over 1,500 lost souls. News of the disaster stunned the world. Crowds gathered in New York, desperate for answers. Inquiries in the US and Britain followed, seeking to understand the failures, ignored warnings, too few lifeboats, and the inaction of the Californian. Survivors and crew testified, reliving the nightmare. The world demanded accountability and change. Titanic's sinking became a catalyst for reform. The tragedy forced a reckoning with the limits of technology and human error. Its lessons would reshape maritime safety forever. Titanic's sinking shattered faith in unsinkable technology and exposed fatal flaws in maritime safety. The disaster led to sweeping reforms. Ships now carried enough lifeboats for all mandatory drills became standard, and radios were manned around the clock. The International Ice Patrol was formed to monitor icebergs, preventing future tragedies. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, set new global standards still in effect today. Titanic's story endures, a cautionary tale of ambition, hubris, and loss. The 1985 discovery of the wreck reignited fascination, revealing the ship's ghostly remains. Titanic remains a powerful symbol, reminding us of the cost of overconfidence and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Its legacy is written in iron, ice, and memory.